All right, well, this is going to be episode 2. See if we, maybe it just nothing happened, so they decided to shut off. This is part 2.
Part 2.
We're here with Doug Clifford. Now, everybody's interviewed you, and then when you said, hey, come over, I want to interview you and talk to you about the song, because that was very inspiring, you know, for you to listen to. A lot of people, you know, like you give them a CD, say, hey, check out my stuff. Yeah, I like this, and I like that, and I like this. When I was a kid, I loved the guitars. And that's the thing, and the jean jackets and the Levi's. Creedence was a real band, a bunch of real guys that you'd hang out with. You know, and that was like when I first started studying Jimmy Page, Pete Townsend, Neil Young, and Creedence. And we were just talking about the Creedence rule. Tight, compact melodies with a strict adherence to the roots of rock and roll. You know?
Yeah, our credo. Credo.
But there's been times when, in my life, where at 5 years old, I had to take care of my dad and take the gun away when he got depressed. His mom said it's a good plan, and Mom was smart. But he had a horribly difficult job that was, you know, and like many first responders do. And I was aware of the real world at a very young age. I had to grow up really, really early. And growing up in LA in those times in the Civil War of the 60s, you know. But, you know, I was lucky enough to find a home in radio where I didn't became a DJ so that I could be famous. Hey, I'm somebody you should know. I became a DJ because I love the music.
Yeah, you are the prime example of somebody who is just given his heart and soul to music. And you've been here.
We've known each other 20
decades.
Years.
You know, you've been doing this.
30 years.
Yeah,
30 years of Thanksgiving.
And I've been listening to you ever since. I moved here 32 years ago. So when you started, I was listening all that time. And then I was up at the lake, just sort of raising kids and doing a lot of volunteer stuff up there. The Defensible Space Program for wildfire, and probably the best thing I ever did in my life. Dedicated a lot of time because I had the time. I was not, you know, my family first, and then I don't have to go on the road. I'll get involved in the community, which I did do. And that's kind of how we came together over the years.
Yeah.
Through
you and Stu, we met through a radio thing. You guys were coming to town, and I remember Stu looking at me like, all right, okay, you know, because I was the young one. I was the little kid in the Ozzy T-shirt with the long hair. It's like, yeah, all right.
That's Stewie.
I think I had like on a Van Halen or an Ozzy T-shirt. I was like, wow, Creedence is here. You know, yeah. But yeah, the music. You know, there's times when for people that you're in some highs, you're in some lows, but there's always that music to hold close to your heart, and that music that gets you through those tough times, and it's the background of your good times, and you know, with Creedence, you know, the music is eternal, and you guys have kept the music playing.
Well, you know, it's a really, to me, it's a gift, and in so many ways, and people say, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I make millions of people happy.
Yeah. Keep people company.
You know, the cool thing now is that we have 3 generations. So we have youngsters.
I've seen it at Creedence shows.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's some hot girls, young ladies at the Creedence shows.
I can't see much from my vantage point or disadvantage.
Well, it's all them damn symbols. All them damn symbols in the way.
It's the lights.
Well, you know, it's like, you know, if you're under 25, classic rock is huge.
Oh,
and it's very inspiring now.
It is. And you see that, too. You get the callers.
Oh, yeah. How old? They want to know. I remember a guy called me up the other day. He goes, what was that? And I go, Joe Walsh, Rocky Mountain Way. Wow! I remember the first time I heard it. You know, you remember that day. And then we go back to a time when it's like, you know, that big stereo, the big speakers, and you sat in the dime of the sound, and you sat there and you listened and you felt it. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And my idea of power is the ability to be able to help people, to inform, to educate, to keep people in company. That's what I do. To bring people that I like you and so many others that I've brought on the radio and who had them tell their stories. So people out there can go, wow, Neil Schon was how old when he met Carlos Santana? 17, and he went out and joined the band? Wow, Doug grew up in Berkeley in that area and used to ride his bike around, getting from job to job and then on to the studio. You know, bringing the people in and having them tell their stories. My idea of power is, like you say, being able to help others, whether it's a defensible space or standing out in like 12-degree weather because you're trying to get money for or food donations for a cause, whatever. And I've always, as a musician, played a lot of benefits. And maybe I'll bring the whole band, maybe I'll just bring my dobro. You know, they love the shiny chrome dobro.
Oh, I love the shiny chrome dobro.
Yeah. It's a NASCAR moment.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You know, it's very American.
And it's very funny because, you know, it's kind of at opposites within itself, because fancy and chrome, and really it's kind of that bluegrass, you know, backcountry music, but it works.
Yeah.
It's that really is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But you really inspired me because, you know, when I write these songs, I just and I knew that this was going to be a song that would be very polarizing.
Yes.
And very spooky.
Oh yeah.
And yet it is the third track on the album.
Yes, it is.
I did not hide it.
No.
But, and my good friend Chuck Garrett of the Alice Cooper Band, I said, this would be a great song for Alice. And Alice has put out a really good record, but he wasn't interested, so it's mine. The corner is mine. And I sing a song about my father, and you know, at the end of a shift, 20 hours straight, the corner needs a drink. He just can't wait, and he meets his pals from Homicide in Old Chinatown. You know,
that's a great song.
Yeah.
Its greatness is again, and I don't mean to be redundant, but the greatness is that it's a true story. That you lived from when you were 5 years and however long you were at home.
Well, I was just,
and then of course you take it with you.
I was just helping Mom, and I knew that Daddy hurt. Daddy was hurting, and helping Mom and leave Daddy alone. And you know at the end of like some different press junkets, you get people out.
Yeah.
You want to talk to people and everything. And there's that one line. You might think, well, you're dead, well, you're dead and done, but you're somebody's daughter, somebody's son. And my dad was so often the guy that had to knock on that door. Ah, Mrs. Smith, I have some bad news. Jimmy's not coming home. We sit down.
Wow.
And that was often, he'd comfort the widow or the family member. He put a human thing into it.
Yes. Where not all of them do, because not all of them can.
No. They don't know how to.
They don't know how to, and it's the story, the old tough Marine, and he can't, he was a war hero, and he's almost ready, he's been in, and it's got to get going out of the Corps, and so he had a couple of months before that, and he didn't want to be sitting around, so they made him a drill instructor. Got a notice that one of his recruits' mom had died, and so calls everybody to muster, and they're all standing there, and he said, Rodriguez, step forward. Rodriguez steps forward, he says, your mother died. And the guy breaks down, he just crumbles. So word gets back to the CO of the base, and they get together with him, and they say, things are different now, you have to be a little bit more humane about this, and they gave him a class, a short class. Lo and behold, as soon as he graduated from that class, somebody else, mother died in his platoon. So he said, Everybody muster up.
They muster up.
Everybody who's got a mother, step forward. Not so fast, sir, McGuire. Anyway, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not all those guys can do it. They can't all do it. And to go that extra mile, it's such a personal gift where you're actually giving a piece of your heart. And, you know, that's very difficult.
It's like when you guys sat down and started writing music. And you wrote a bunch of songs, and you picked out a bunch of songs, and you didn't know if Born in the Bayou was going to be the big song or which one. But you knew that your heart was into it, and the people decided what songs they wanted to hear.
Out of our hands.
Played, yeah. You just gave it to them, and they ran with it. And that's what I hope to do. I mean, you know, I still have this passion where I love being on the radio Monday through Friday from 3 to 7 on KOZZ. That celebrated 30 years.
You're great at it.
I love what I do. If you love your job, you'll never work another day in your life. Yes, it is work. When you go on tour,
yeah,
it's work.
Yeah.
But you love that.
I love it.
Work is good for the soul.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that these are hard times. And a lot of people are looking for work. They're trying to reinvent themselves. Like Eric Clapton always reinvented himself. And sometimes when there's no more jobs here, you got to reinvent yourself and do something else. And over the years, when I needed extra money, I drove a truck for Coke or Pepsi or 7-Up and whatever I could find to do. You know, maybe I'll run sound. I'll work for a concert. I worked for Bill Graham as a stage guy, roadie guy for years, and then I went on to do all of his commercials. You know, for the Reno market. Get ready, Reno. You know, you get into that voice. You know, get ready, Reno, because Creedence Clearwater Revisited goes head to head with Gravedigger at the Reno Event Center. We'll sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. You got to use that voice. You never use it. Well, people don't know how important your voice is, and people don't get to hear their voice very often. But you know, you have your girlfriend voice. Oh, baby, that's sweet. Then you have your authoritative voice. No. Then you know you have all your different voices that you use, but vocal inflection is very important.
Right.
But of course, singing is important. With this new record, I was so lucky because I got Troy Mullen from 7 Seconds, who's been in this band forever. He's just an incredible drummer. 7 Seconds has been around, famous punk band from Reno for 30 years. He had to slow down, had to speed up. And the first 2 records were all acoustic. Then I did a stand-up because I saw Paul Simon play when I was really little. Just him and the guitar. That was it. Him and the guitar, Hollywood Bowl, that was it. Paul played all night. And I was like, he doesn't need a band, Mom. You know, and so I did the first 2 records, very Bob Dylan, you know, and acoustic. Then the 3rd record, I brought in Chuck Ruff. And Chuck is just an amazing drummer. And Sammy Hagar is a guy who's been close to me for a long time, and always a great character. Edgar Winter has kind of opened up shows for Edgar Winter. He's a true iconic artist.
Yeah.
But Chuck, you know, went into the studio and we made this record called Illuminati. And you know, when he passed away, the only thing I regretted with our friendship that we maybe didn't spend enough time together in the last couple years of his life. But we were always friends. We didn't always look eye to eye and everything. But we got in the studio, we made an amazing record. And he came to see us play when we opened up for Y&T. And he, I heard, you know, when I got off stage, Chuck's here. I go, Chuck's here? I go running around looking for him. I go, Chuck? He goes, hey. And he puts his hand on, gives me that iron grip. He goes, you guys are effing great.
Oh.
You know, for him to say that, you know, as a former band member, and I mean, it was great. And then that was a great record. We lost Chuck, and that broke my heart. But you know, we carry with us the people we've known. Anybody who's ever loved will always be alive in your heart.
Right.
And Troy did a great job on this new record, but you know, Illuminati with Chuck, there was some acoustic stuff. It's like an Eagles record, it's like a Steve Miller record. There's peaks and valleys. With this new record, there's a couple of panty wetters. There's a couple of pretty songs.
Yeah.
There's a couple of bluesy numbers and slide guitar numbers, but Troy stepped up the game, and it's a rock record. It's folk music shot from cannons. There's some tough stuff on there. I mean, there's some like, it's like, is this Judas Priest and Black Sabbath? It's the kind of music you remember when you were a kid, you turned up loud and you go, I want a guitar amp that sounds like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and you go down, you get that little amp with the clean sound, and you're like, blink, blink, blink. I remember like one of my first guitars was from Thrifty Drugstore, you know, and it had a little amp and everything. It's like, I wanted to, it didn't make that reverb sound that Creedence did, you know, and I figured out the chords, but I couldn't get it, do-do, do-do, you know. I want to get that reverb.
Well, John Fogerty.
What amp was it? What is?
Custom 200.
Custom?
Yeah, custom.
Not Fender Twin Reverb.
No.
Custom 200. Yeah. The Holy Grail searches on the Custom 200. That's where the reverb sound is.
Duck and roll.
Yeah.
His first guitar and amp was a Sears Silvertone.
Yeah, that's what I had.
And the little amp was about this big.
Yeah.
You know, a little skinny thing and a Silvertone guitar. And Stu wasn't playing bass, he was playing piano, acoustic piano, because they didn't have electric keyboards then. And we were an instrumental trio, and then Tom would come and maybe sing a couple songs, and the girls would freak out, and he was older, and he was a good, you know, he had the look, he had that look. And then he goes, and then he wanted to record and have a chance at a career. He was in a really good band called Spiderweb and the Insects. Yeah. Good musicians, prototypical into what most people think of a musician is. These guys were presented 2 songs from Tom to learn to go record. They said, well, what do you mean? Well, I wrote these songs. We're going to learn them. We're going to go to the studio and record them. I'm going to drive to L.A. and try and get a record deal. They said, we getting paid? I said, no, this is costing me money. You know, it's a shot at the future. He said, well, are there going to be any chicks there? Honest to God. No, it's a recording studio. And they said, we'd rather work on our cars. Well, guess who was sitting around rehearsing in the living room? The boys. 4 years younger, we're 13. Terrible. But, you know, we're working hard. Practice was 7 hours, and, you know,